What is up, besties, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Scotty Holiday. I'm a queer creator and a huge Star Wars nerd, so if you're into either one of those things, please consider liking, subscribing, and following me on social media at Scotty Holiday SW for all my latest Star Wars content. Since Disney's acquisition of Lucasfilm in 2012, I've noticed an odd trend when it comes to lightsaber colors, specifically green lightsabers. It seems like Disney hates them. Whether it's an established character or a brand new one, the default lightsaber color seems to always be blue nowadays, and that's something I want to talk about in today's video. For example, some of the most popular Disney-era Jedi, such as Kanan Jarrus, Cal Kestis, Rey Skywalker, and Ben Solo, have all been shown to wield a blue blade. Even Leia got her own lightsaber for the sequel trilogy, and despite Carrie Fisher requesting a purple blade and the official concept art showing the character wielding a purple saber, Leia's lightsaber was ultimately depicted blue in The Rise of Skywalker. I also have to talk about Jedi whose lightsabers started out as green but were ultimately changed to blue, or as I'm calling it, Disney's green lightsaber erasure. I think the most popular example of this erasure would be with Ahsoka Tano. Beginning with her debut in the 2008 Clone Wars movie, Ahsoka wielded a single green lightsaber. Then for the 2010 Season 3 update, Ahsoka was shown wielding her standard green lightsaber along with a new yellow-green Shoto lightsaber, which she continues to use all the way through the end of the Clone Wars Season 5. In December of 2015, in Star Wars Rebels Season 2, we got the reveal of Ahsoka's new lightsabers and their white blades, which she wielded through the end of the series. Around the release of Rebels Season 3, we also got the Ahsoka novel, which details the Siege of Mandalore and Ahsoka's survival post-Order 66. But in a flashback where Ahsoka reflects on abandoning her sabers after the Siege of Mandalore, her blades are still depicted as green, so when we got our first trailer for the Clone Wars Season 7, showing Ahsoka igniting her lightsabers for the first time since leaving the Jedi Order, it came as a huge shock and surprise to see them light up blue instead of green. This change also kind of overshadowed the reunion of her and Anakin for me, a moment that I and so many other fans had been waiting for 7 years, and I was honestly disappointed because not only did Ahsoka's green blades make her stand out next to Anakin and Obi-Wan, but her yellow-green Shoto also made her so much more unique compared to other Jedi. Anakin's lines about the new color saying, "They're good as new, maybe a little better," almost felt like a dig in the moment, and while the change did pay off for the final scene with Vader at the end of the series finale, I think igniting her yellow-green Shoto would have had the same impact, but I guess we'll never know at this point. Another, albeit more interesting example of green lightsaber erasure involves Luke Skywalker. Luke wielded his father's blue lightsaber throughout A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, then constructed a new lightsaber in the time leading up to the events of Return of the Jedi. As we all know, his new lightsaber blade turned out to be green, so it was extremely confusing 31 years later in the timeline, seeing Luke wield his blue saber against Kylo Ren via force projection in The Last Jedi. What makes this choice even more perplexing is that during the flashback to Luke's Jedi Temple, where he raises his saber at Ben in his sleep, Luke's wielding his green blade. I've heard the argument that Luke changed his appearance to look closer to how he did during he and Kylo's fateful encounter, but if this was the case, why would he choose to appear with a completely different lightsaber that Kylo would have never seen him wield? Luke lost the Skywalker saber during his duel with Vader on Cloud City, only to be reunited with it 31 years later in the timeline, so Kylo clearly would have never seen him wielding it. Now, of course, we did get to see Luke wielding his green saber 3 years after The Last Jedi in the Mandalorian Season 2 finale, but the problem still remains, with Luke's green lightsaber completely absent from the sequel trilogy altogether, except in The Last Jedi's aforementioned flashback scene. Let's also not forget that many people saw the Mandalorian series as a sort of course correction due to sequel trilogy backlash, so it's no surprise that they made sure to show Luke wielding his green blade this time around. And last but not least, we have Ezra Bridger. Now, Ezra is an interesting case because he starts out wielding a blue lightsaber throughout Star Wars Rebels Seasons 1 and 2, then constructs a new green lightsaber that he wields through Seasons 3 and 4, eventually entrusting it to Sabine Wren at the end of the series. I always considered Ezra the outlier to Disney's green saber erasure because he went from a blue blade originally to a green one, but this changed with the release of the Ahsoka series. Ezra's green lightsaber does appear in the show, however the weapon has now become Sabine's, leaving Ezra without a lightsaber altogether. Many were hopeful that Ezra would construct a new lightsaber, and I specifically speculated that he would have done so during his time on Peridia, resulting in a unique design or color, and though we did see Ezra construct a new lightsaber in the series, the blade ended up being the usual blue. Now, I can't lie, I was kind of bummed seeing him go back to a blue blade, and part of me wonders if they went with blue because they didn't want to have two green sabers on screen. I'm sure a part of the decision was to honor Ezra's late master Kanan, but they had already done so seconds before by having him use the same exact lightsaber emitter. Speaking of Kanan, his Jedi Master Depa Billaba is another great example of green lightsaber erasure as well. In the Kanan comic series, Depa Billaba is depicted wielding a green lightsaber during the events of Order 66, and not only was this event retconned for the Bad Batch Season 1, but so was her lightsaber color, showing the Jedi Master now wielding a blue lightsaber in the Bad Batch series premiere. A similar situation also happened with Cere Junda from Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. In the Jedi Fallen Order comic series, detailing the adventures of Cere and her master Eno Cordova prior to Order 66, Cere is shown wielding a green lightsaber. However, we learn that she sold her green crystal prior to the events of the first game in an attempt to settle Grease's gambling debts with the Haxian Brood. The only time we see her wield a lightsaber is in Fallen Order's finale, wielding the Inquisitor blade of her fallen Padawan. Then in Jedi Survivor, we learn that Cere has committed herself to gathering and preserving the teachings of the Jedi Order, re-establishing her place as a Force user, so it was only natural she would construct a new lightsaber as well, but when her lightsaber is finally revealed in the game, the new blade ends up being blue. A reveal I was honestly disappointed in. I know a lot of fans were hopeful she would have kept Trilla's Inquisitor blade and purified the crystal to use for herself, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. Something also worth noting is Disney's recent increasing use of yellow lightsabers, with the most popular example being Rey's, appearing at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. Asajj Ventress also acquires a yellow lightsaber off the black market that she uses during her time as a bounty hunter until her death in the novel Dark Disciple, and we've also seen Luke use a yellow lightsaber for a time between The Empire Strikes Back and the construction of his green blade in the 2020 main Star Wars comic series. Despite the High Republic depicting lightsabers of many different colors, it seems the Order will have resorted to only using blue, green, and yellow by the time of the Acolyte series as well, based on the leaked Celebration 2023 footage. Maybe I just don't like blue lightsabers because they feel like the default and the most common lightsaber color nowadays, and Disney consistently giving new heroes blue blades also doesn't help, and maybe Disney does just hate green lightsabers after all. But what do you think? What lightsaber color would you like to see more of in Star Wars canon? Let me know down in the comments below or join my Discord to continue the conversation there. Make sure to like, subscribe, and consider following me on social media at ScottyHolidaySW for all my latest Star Wars content. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.